Hey, this is Misery Loves Company, a weekly social reading series hosted by miserytourism.com. Every Friday, we welcome outsider and transgressive writers to come and share their work with us. And it's a Friday again, so let's get rolling here. First up tonight is Gigi.
Yeah, so I got a couple of poems here. I'll read them. I'll put a link in the chat thingy.
Oh, I just dropped it in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Come on. All right. I'll wait like 30 seconds and I'll read. All right, let's close to 30. Pablo Neruda was real as hell for writing a bunch of poems about how titties are like bread. Bitch, he would begin. Bread titties, he would continue. Just like bread. This next one's called Face Off. The 1997 movie Face Off, starring Nicolas Cage and John Travolta, is about two men who face off and then they have their faces taken off before they face off and then their faces are taken off. This one's called Slept Funny. I dreamt Jim Cramer was pointing at charts and graphs. He was screaming the N-word and a few other words. He kept pointing and screaming slurs. Bulls and bears destroyed his charts and graphs. They wrecked the studio. That's the last one. It's called Medicaid. How many drinks do you have per week? Too many. Per day. Can't count that high. Really? You can't? Nope. Drink too much. That's all I got.
Gigi, I have to ask a few questions here. First of all, was the Jim Cramer dream real? Is that a dream you actually had?
Yes.
That that's an amazing dream. I wish I had dreams like that. I can just see that. It's so fucking vivid. It is, and it's like it's the perfect dream because like so many dreams are just incoherent, like nonsense, right? But this is a dream that's just a little bit removed from from reality, and it's just perfectly believable as a dream, and just and also like so on point for the way the guy really behaves, right? You can imagine him doing that if the fucking cameras were off, right? You can imagine that maybe he does that as a voice exercise or something, or would have a few years ago before they diversified the cast of Mad Money.
Yes.
The Face Off one is just beautiful because I mean there's no more apt plot synopsis of that movie, right? Like it may be the best named movie ever because anyway.
Yeah, they just face off, dude. Their faces are taken off. And there's a line in the movie where fucking Nick Cage's character goes, I'm gonna take his face off.
Fuck yeah, Face Off. It's face slash off too in the thing. It's so good.
Thanks for letting me read.
Yeah, thank you for reading, man. Oh, Rudy, sorry.
I love the Medicaid one. That one is like a conversation I've had with my my psychiatrist or shrink or whatever. Because every time like you go for intake or whatever, it's like, yeah, you know, how many times are you suicidal per week? It's like, yeah, a lot. And then it's like, oh well, you know, can you quantify that more?
My fingers don't go that high.
It's hard for me to put this down on the chart unless you give me like a good number. Somehow that'll help if I have like 25 or something.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that guy who just went viral, like mini viral, like locally in my city. Somebody like a news anchor had cornered him outside like an LCBO and asked him like how many, like he was drunk outside the LCBO and he asked him how many you know, how many beers do you have in a week? And he like in a day, and he's like, what day?
What day? Oh man,
it does depend.
Day. That's good.
That's true. You imagine a lot of people like their drinking is highly variable based on the day of the week.
Like how many times do you get suicidal on average per day? Like, expect me to answer that?
I'm not keeping a tally. Yeah.
Right. All right. Thank you, Gigi. Is Colton here yet? I don't think he is. In which case, Jesse's up next. just as I said that, Colton entered the waiting room. That's okay, Jesse, you can go and then.
Okay, great. All right, this was published last week in Expat Press. I got a job in Dada entry. Dodging my salt, meaning deliberately not taking psych meds, lithium being a salt. I did that a few times, went to the college library and read poetry. Whenever I dodge my salts these days, it's never on purpose, but just because I forget. Troubled by basketball traveling, not dribbling enough while taking the pill to the hole. Complaints, rashy glabella, flakes, itching, third eye skin disease lurking in the genotype patterns as the symmetrical coloration of a cat's fur hides in the DNA of the zygote. Patience for manifestation in ill health. My psychic variant came with matching physiological signs and symptoms, imperfections in the flesh. Double take. The creepy feelings in the body, bone cancer of the pubis. Vitamin Dracula, guy has massive vitamin D deficiency, is put on megadose. It causes him extreme suicidal ideation. Come to find out, he has a life allergy to vitamin D. No sun, a vampire. Objectification. Walk 360 degrees around the Pog angel sculpture. The rear view of the angel on the cover of Ministries Psalm 69 had me like Victoria's Secret lingerie models with wings. Something about being winged appealed to women. You saw it in Halloween costumes, tattoo back pieces, angelic bodies on three-dimensional display. Wasn't sexual lust for angels what did Sodom and Gomorrah in? The men of the town encircled Lot's house where the two angels were inhabiting, demanding the angels to come out so the men could know them. Pornography is deformation. Her face while giving head was deformed. Neck, brain. Sex disfigured the angelic corpus, but even worse for you. 5 knowing intersections with the cubic phalanx field of angel pussy were all it took. You fucked the angel and thenceforth were scattered, could only think in sentence fragments. Lost your verb marbles to the Babel baby. All verbs theologically disabled in illusory time. I've grown into having a uniform way of wiping away tears. I use my right hand to wipe tears away from my left eye, rightwards, clockwise, across the bridge of my nose to my right eye. I do it all the same way now. Something chiral and spun about the hand-to-face combination, like a child's top in the galactic spiral arm. I got a job in Dada entry, feeding scripts and routines to nihilistic vomit robots. The boss man speaks. I've got my eye on 10 different secretaries, and each one has a different colored pen to take dictation with. This is your color. He gives her a green pen. She makes counterfeit money with it instead of taking dictation. I would rather you didn't go there. That place is haunted. He would rather lose his life than give up on his promise to his country. Would you rather handle it now or later when you've gotten all that weight off your shoulder? Father would rather not leave the car in that neighborhood. I would rather flirt with the American over there by the painting. She speaks fluent French. Coronavirus. Entre soins et insouciance, vous étiez tout arrangé en divinité. Il existe une sorte de sous-genre de terry horror aussi répandu que le moisissure noire. Rathering is preferring one path over another before the fork in the road has been reached. It is not a physical place, but rather a site in the mind where futures are ranked before they are even defined, like colors, chosen and applied in the mind's eye before any paint is mixed on the palette. An animal can't be said to possess that abstraction until it can invent an adverb to indicate the arborescence of choices trembling in the moment just before they are made. Unless there is objective luggage carried by thoughts in their travels, a thought is not a thing, and therefore some portion of you lives life as an invisible beast, more latent ghost DNA. But this is the part that has the strongest opinions about every decision about to be made. Headmasters, bursars, deans at the Currentivist Academy don't understand time cube. Pick one sense. The pin attached to the beggar lady's finger. She pricks the baby's leg secretly to make it cry, makes her case more pathetic to passers-by on the bridge. Why endow the ear with sensitivity and then deny the ear the ripple target? The park's stimuli offering itself to you in patterns, just beyond elucidation. Bird songs, glassy reverb, insectile carpet of sound. How tantalizing these hidden gears of reality are. Perform the exorcism of a jaded eye. Evict the demon that resides entwined around the sensorium rope. One amusing privilege is to watch a woman's face while emotions gradate and nuance dance across it, emotions intersecting with flesh. And then you see there some evidence they have formed a judgment about you, the face flame flickering. There is in us sensitivity enough to make oral sex and telepathy practically one. Reading in the lower mind, the mind of the other body. Instead of reading the mind set apart from that body, the dark, concentrated effulgence that can only be apprehended with eyes shut through a lead apron interfering with fellatio or cunnilingus. Whenever you encounter another person, a heat-seeking missile latches on and pursues you through a city of fog.
This is fucking great, Jesse. You know what, Jesse, sometimes you have an instance where a piece and the publication fit together perfectly, right? Sometimes a piece will just like exist to be published in a certain place. And I'm so glad this piece was published in Expat, because this is almost like the quintessential Expat piece in some ways. Like in the way that it's like mildly transgressive, as like most of the writing in our space is, but it's also like really psychedelic in a way that the best pieces published in Expat are psychedelic. It has that like same like brilliantly like disjointed logic as even as like the blurbs that Manny writes to like advertise expat pieces, right? Like it has the perfect like expat style and expat vibe. So I'm so glad it ended up here. But above and beyond that, like this is fantastic. Every single paragraph here contains these brilliant little like insights that are initially weird and opaque, but then become like more clear and illuminated as the paragraph moves on. And it's just really fascinating, like, like, to use the word again, like psychedelic way of revealing truth. And I particularly love the objectification paragraph. Oh my gosh, there is so much fucking good in that paragraph that had me like, and then the blank space moment. You know exactly what that fucking means, right? And then like the like movement into like the model with wings, and then the angelic stuff, and then the Sodom and Gomorrah stuff, and then Babel, and the way that progresses, like that like unfolding like like that unfolding stream of references happens without at any point breaking away from the object of the object of the paragraph, right? Like it begins about like sexual objectification, it ends about sexual objectification. There's a clear psychological through line to that paragraph. Like you can fully understand what the narrator is thinking and feeling. And yet there's also this like wonderful like escalating series of references, and they all come together perfectly there. And each of the paragraphs here works in a similar way. It's a really wonderful, intricately constructed piece, Jesse, and I'm glad you shared it here.
Thanks, William. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm trying to write something longer that kind of is this same style or goes in the same direction. And it was cool to have an expat and see people like it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's an awesome piece. Thank you, Jesse. And Colton is here now, so Colton's up next.
Sweet. Sorry for being late. I had to go get beer and fill my car with gas.
No, it's okay, Colton.
Also, I have to ask Jesse, is that a Bass Pro Shop hat?
This hat? Oh yeah,
Okay,
dude.
okay. It looked like a Bass Pro Shop hat. I was about to
I
say,
think maybe they tried to make it look like I have no idea, but cool. Yeah, thank
it's a good hat. I like that hat. All right. So yeah, this piece that I'm gonna read. The first one is an experience with overdosing, and then the second piece is just like a funnier kind of piece to even out the sad with some lightheartedness. All right. Okay. So the first piece is staring into the garbage disposal with vomit hanging from your nose. Throwing up again. It's 3 a.m. This stuff can't be laced. It's from the same dealer. It could be food poisoning. You okay, buddy? Yeah, I'm fine. Go to your lines. You hear your friend sniff. You hear a cough. And then you hear the thud. You're holding back puke running out of the bathroom. He's still breathing. You puke in the trash can. You run back to him. You put your head on his chest. You can still hear his heart. Maybe he just had a mini seizure, like that one time when your ex had a seizure during kitchen sex. Okay, focus. You slap his face and pour water on him. He's still sleeping. He does drink a lot. Fuck, just put him on his side. Let him rest. He's snoring. He's snoring loudly. Put your ear on his chest again. You hear a heartbeat still. Okay, go throw up some more. Don't lose consciousness. Fuck. What is that in the sink? Is that blood or meat? Go check on him. Is he still breathing? He's snoring still. Good, good. Just try to sleep. Go lie down. God, you feel horrible. Why did you do this? How long has it been? Why did you fucking do it? Why didn't you just fucking say something? Hey, maybe we should stop. Why didn't you call the ambulance earlier? He thought he was going to wake up. He was snoring. He was breathing. He was fucking breathing. His heart was still beating. He waited, and then finally he wasn't breathing. You felt his cold hand and it was still fleshy. You slapped his face a bunch. The morning crew walked into the building and the panic finally set in. Call 911. You gave him mouth to mouth. You can hear his lungs inflate. The lady on the phone tells you how to do CPR. Rip off any clothing covering the chest. Put one hand towards the bottom of his breastplate, between the nipples. Now put your other hand on top. Now press into his chest. How far in do I push? Fuck, I wasn't listening. All I can hear is my coworkers crying. God damn it. Now go along with this beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 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 I can't stop thinking about how off rhythm you are. Fuck, come on, please, please. Where's the coke? Fucking goddamn it. Are the cops here? It's an ambulance. Stop freaking out. Stop being so fucking scared. Don't throw up again. It's 11 a.m. You will be sober after this. You can do it. You saw your friend not breathing. 7 hours without oxygen. It's all your fault. Your friends say that they're glad you're okay, but you know they're not saying what they want to say. You do the hating yourself part for them. You're not in the hospital. You didn't pass out. You get to be awake and think about everything. You're cold. You walk outside because you need food. You can smell everything when you've been spewing up your insides since 3 a.m. It's 5 p.m. now. You don't know if your friend's family hates you. Why haven't you called your mom yet? You should eat. You want donuts. Go get some donuts. Cocaine doesn't make you pass out, you fucking idiot. You should have known better. Before you drove your friend to buy laced coke, you were sitting in the veterinary office. You heard voices of an older couple in the other room. Old man, when did World War II end? AI voice. One moment, please. September 2nd, 1945. Old man. What year did they institute the draft for World War II? AI voice. One moment, please. The draft for World War II began in 1940. Old man. Shit. I forget. Did they draft everybody for World War II? AI voice. One moment, please. I'm sorry. Try again. Old man. What army bands are in Tennessee and Arkansas? AI voice. One moment, please. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. Old woman. Reception's starting to get bad. It's these waiting rooms. Old man. Damn. Here, can you log into the Wells Fargo account for me? Old woman. I can't. The reception is bad. The app won't work. Just be patient. The doctor walks into the waiting room with my cat, and the conversation between the couple on the other side of the wall starts to fade. The vet sets down her clipboard, takes off her glasses, and looks at me. Okay, let's just get to it. I saw a lot of blood in his mouth. This gum infection is getting worse. We'll need to remove almost all of his teeth. But here's one issue. If we're going to do the procedure, then we're going to have to administer anesthesia. Only problem is, I heard a faint heart murmur, but this is just me hearing a murmur. And most heart murmurs don't mean that we're dealing with something serious, but until we're sure, we won't be able to administer the anesthesia. I think, well, at first I figured it was the tightening of the aortas, aortic stenosis, because we're dealing with the walls of the heart. But hearing this murmur, I want to say we're likely dealing with feline hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. What this means is that since the muscles of the heart are starting to swell up, red blood cells are having trouble traveling through the heart to the rest of the body. And this can cause fatigue, blood clots, and a whole mess of breathing issues. I checked the x-ray and his heart is currently at a normal size. But still, regardless, I want to be sure. I want to have him checked with a specialist. I'll refer you to an animal hospital that does really good ultrasounds. If we don't find a heart murmur, then we can go ahead and schedule some teeth removal appointments and safely administer anesthesia to help with the pain. He doesn't have long, but we're going to try. We sent off some blood work and we're going to wait to see those results. In the meantime, just give him his meds, let him rest, and check on his breathing every once in a while. We'll give you a call and let you know if we need to make some appointments. For pain, administer liquid gabapentin, 100 milligrams, 1 milliliter, 0.25 milliliters, 25 milligrams every 12 hours. I think I've been watching too much reality television lately. Chicken fried steak and heartburn and the pure joy provided by dead flowers decorating wooden furniture owned by former President Warren G. Harding. I saw the name of our Messiah. Shit, I'm gonna have to walk here. My friend is locked out. All right. I saw the name of our Messiah washed into the dirty back hatch door of an 18-wheeler driving down the highway to Hernando, Mississippi. Did you pray today? Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near. Isaiah 55:6. Complete auto repair, vintage treasures and furniture. Entry method, pre-authorization, alarm will sound. Homeowners Association restrictions and covenants. Push, pull, alternative dispute resolution. Caution, wait till the end, emergency exit only. Sticky critters and capsule vending machines. Volvo driving away from the sunset. Rest area ahead, attendee on site. You be good now, okay? Fleet foxes, helplessness blues. SIGs inside, SIGs inside. SabbathTruth.com. Jesus never forgets. Dinner with a friend after eating an entire box of donuts. Take the diced ginger and garlic and throw it into the pan with the chopped up pork. Now add garlic salt, pepper, and soy sauce. Me. What do you think? Too much soy sauce, right? Friend. I mean, it tastes great, but yeah, maybe too much soy sauce. All right. And this one is platonic tummy raspberries. To sleep. But the self-flushing toilet accompanied by aggressive bong rips are giving me vivid inspiration. Watching other people suffer, a new creation is crowning. Daring to be 14-year-old Denham Bradshaw, the boy who got stomped on by a bull after his first ever ride and died of a cardiac arrest. Super Monkey Ball main menu music playing while you construct a tall tower out of Legos. Red brick, yellow brick, blue brick, green brick. As you walk away to find some more colored bricks, your brother comes and knocks the tower over. Go get that bottle of Brabant Vino Verde and be sure to pour it into my special glass, asshole. Did I tell you that I stole those Kirby playing cards from a mixed gentleman living out in Mayflower, Arkansas? Did I tell you that I stole those riding shoes from my ex-roommate? Did I tell you that I watched my ex-roommate throw a rock at a duck and the duck ended up drowning? Did I tell you that my ex-roommate likes to listen to Bob Dylan? It's 2016 and the weekend of my 21st birthday, and my amigo from Mexico City drags me to DuPont Circle to hang at the Latin bar, but none of the senoritas will dance with me. Ay, caramba. To cheer me up, we go to a gay bar for free drinks. The city homos fill me up with so much goddamn whiskey that I have to run and projectile into the urinal. My roommate pats my back while scrolling on his phone and tells me, "Holy shit, did you see Trump just won Florida?" We run out on our tab and start walking towards the metro when we see the founding Church of Scientology building. We jump over a tiny black fence and make dents in the dewy lawn and pretend that we're having a religious moment while we try to order an emergency Uber. But in reality, we're just trespassing and getting grass stains on our work clothes. Chicken Sheriff wearing a green denim button-up under a leather vest. A red face scarf hangs around his neck. His Colt Frontier 6-shooter is tucked into his belted holster. The stern cock scans the area, squinting under the harsh Texas sun. Bark, 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 bark. The hour for mayhem is imminent, a matter of when. The bird pecks the ground and stirs up some dirt. The area needs rain. Bark, bark. The area needs protection, no matter what. The area needs law that upholds an ethics of nostalgia, the protection of literature, and death to anyone who tries to pervert the former or oppose the latter. It's coming, it's coming. It's creeping in through the crack in your window. Look at the vine twirling through broken shards. The world wants you. There's a guy dressed up as Michael Jackson at karaoke, and he only talks like Michael Jackson and sings Michael Jackson songs, and he keeps looking at me, and I don't know what it means. Referring to the former, the latter, kill yourself. Sleep over with friends watching some Indian guys put a leech onto Steve-O's eye. And so there was a change. There was this uncontrollable urge, a newfound fascination of flicking fire onto a glass jar, watching the rodent inside sink his teeth into a squishy belly button. My therapist calls me for our afternoon telephone counseling session, but when I pick up the phone, I answer with, "Hello, thank you for calling Burger King, home of the Whopper. How can I help you?" And that's it.
Colton, I love the end of that last one.
Me
But-
too.
I want to go back to the first one because the first one is fucking terrifying, and I love the way it's structured too, because this is fundamentally one day in a human being's life, right? And I love how you go, like, it's so wild the way this piece unpacks, because you start with like absolutely like traumatic, like disorientation, right? Like, and something happens where you completely throughout this piece lose track of time because you're constantly cutting, like hours pass, and then time dilates, and something like the CPR probably took like 30 seconds in real life, but takes up like this big section, and then a whole block of time is missing, and then you're back in time at the veterinary office and something else dramatic is happening, and then you're on the street, and it's and like it's just these flashes of things that you see along the roadside before you're in this like somewhat normal, gentle dinner table moment, right? And the way this happens is so like completely in sync with the way the brain, like the human mind, like processes a traumatic day, where it's like absolute fixation for a while, right? Where time slows way the fuck down, and then time disappears entirely, and then you reach this state of like complete like disconnection from yourself and from reality. And I love the way that you get that across by like this like this long stretch, or this relatively brief stretch in the piece, where it's you're gone, right? And it's just things you see. It's just a recounting of like this, what you saw in this truck, and like these snippets of things outside of you. It's like the complete disintegration of the self. And then you kind of reform at the end. So it's all, the ending of this piece is almost optimistic, in spite of the fact that this is like an incredibly bleak and traumatic piece. And I like that. Like, and it's the same fucking day, right? It's the same fucking day. And at the end of the day, in spite of all that awful shit happening, like you've regained just a little bit of normalcy. And
Mhm.
I don't know, in terms of like pieces about how the brain like processes trauma and handles guilt and handles the sense of culpability it's really good. It's really astute. And the
Thank
second
you.
piece is amazing. The second piece is, as you I like how you said, "Oh, this is a fun piece," but it is a fun piece. You know, it absolutely is. I mean, it has just as many like moments of like ugly perversity as your pieces usually do, but it is clearly like it's a fun piece. And I love
It's just, like I love finding funny moments in things that, aren't really funny. Like, I'm at a gay bar and we're like, oh shit, Trump's about to win. Or like,
that's a great moment because it's such a small, tiny, it takes up such a small part of the
Mhm.
whole thing, right? Like the whole thing's fucking like that moment, that night, this thing that like as so many people, like that's all they remember from that night. It was like all I remember is sitting in front of the TV and watching like watching the guy read off the numbers and give off the results and come to the conclusion that, oh, I do remember that moment though when they're like, wait a second, it looks like Florida's going for Trump actually, but here it's like like one moment
Right.
within an otherwise like completely, I won't say normal because it's it's not a normal night, but within like the fabric of this night. And I love how you let the readers like orient themselves in this moment for just a moment and then you're gone again, anyway, Colton, sorry I'm rambling, but
Thank
they're
you.
great pieces. Gigi's heckling your friend. Anyway, thank you, Colton.
Of
And
course, appreciate y'all.
Adam's up next.
I'm here. Are you able to throw the link in, or should I throw the link in?
Nope, I've got him. I just put the first one in, and then I'm going to put the second one in now.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
This is
should be all
called.
set.
Okay. This is called Type. Are you seeing anyone? Not lately. You? You should meet my friend Lacey, but she charges money. Yeah, no thanks. What's your type? I don't know. Maybe athletic, blonde or brunette. I'm not picky. What's yours? It's difficult. For a long time, I had this image of the perfect female ideal. It's hard to describe, but the best I can come up with is that I'd love to fall in love with a 5'5" or 5'6" extremely pale or even ghost-like female state trooper who looks really worn out from her shift and has an empty gas station coffee cup in her hand, and it's around Christmas time, or maybe early spring as an alternative to Christmas. Oh, okay. This one's called Who May Sue and Be Sued. Your Honoring, I don't know much about the law from the man dressed in hideous Matlock drag and entering the courthouse for his divorce case, secretly strapped with dynamite. Have a seat. We haven't called your case yet, Mr. I'm on my last legs, Your Honor. We'll get to you shortly. The judge texts her law clerk, LOL. Charles was a learned painter. He wore leather and listened to Nirvana, but never found it. His old boss at Subway dealt in left-handed compliments. Charles has always been an artist, and he's working on his installation, Abuses of Uses, a giant replica of a seafood sub with huge mammary developments and a Jewish star. Charles is an anti-Semite, and he wants to make waves. Joshua swallowed the partner's mitten. That's code for shut the fuck up, Ryan. K. Tom, the lawyer, yeah, pari passu, at the same time, equal degrees. 2 or more schemes carried out at once, don't you know? So anyway, Tom smokes crack with his clients and bills them for the time only at half rate, etc. He couldn't write a legal brief to save his life, and he lives in a paper house on paper credit like a paper king. It is not an earthly paradise. In fact, he is surrounded by asbestos. Injuries to a husband include abduction and adultery and beating or otherwise ill-using a man's wife. These are often offenses against the man, not the wife. For real? No, it's just old shit you have to learn for the bar, LOL. Holy shit, I was like, yeah, let's go get wine drunk, K. Cotton has his introduction. When? Now. Oh, LOL. Maria was black and beautiful. I don't know why, but one day she just walked down to the pond, filled her pockets with soil, and walked in. It was behind Craig's house, his American name. In truth, he was a fabulous Egyptian. I hate brunch. Why? Look at the people. I am beginning to think that I should paint with watercolors rather than acrylic because of a sensitivity to laser tag. And the shit I saw in the Gazette. It's the anniversary of Harper's death. 5 foot Harper? 5 foot Harper. She was a dame. That's for you to say. I haven't a clue. I don't really either. Marianne sits all day staring into her clouded cane and drinking tequilas mixed with Ovaltine. She has strong bones and a foot that grew backward. She was in theater for a spell, but only as a groundling. Whatever, let's go to the Circle K. Look, there she is in the window. That's not her, that's Stephanie. Oh yeah. Hubert built an astrological house and sat in it. He was so bored that he just moved the earth around in his little truck. He bought flowers for the 14-year-old at the drive-through coffee shop, and her dad drove over and beat the living fuck out of him. Marty quit driving cab because his back mice finally got to him. He had them incised and they grew back like they were cheese hiding in his insides, LOL. Are you a doctor? In fact, yes. Last year, Boris did rock the vote and did the March of Dimes on top of a 5K for the victims of Hurricane Biden. He has a figure of fun and built a little fountain in his yard and the kids throw coins in. He secretly records people from his front window. This is antisocial, but all of his good deeds cancel it out. He is an even Steven. Well, you raise a good point, and I don't know if Plato. Oh, sorry, I'm on hold. Yes. Make that a 20-piece nugget and extra ranch. Hang on. Sotto voce. What? Okay. And a large Coke to mix with Southern Comfort. Good afternoon. Goyim, Goyim, and Goyim. Is Tom in? He's in court. Can I take a message? Or would you like to talk to Samantha? You mean that bitch who fucked up my divorce? Brandon has moved 3 times in 3 years, and each time has removed and rescrewed one of those old pencil sharpeners. He works for an internet company and plays blackjack until dawn. He's not so bad except for that murder he got away with. John loses everything and dresses like an ostrich. He orders the deluxe wash with a wax seal and gets out of his car in the middle of it. He finally feels. Hick Ben is still in prison. Everyone else associated with the case is dead, with the exception of His Honor, who is in Boca Raton. You should write a book about it. It's not interesting, and the whole world is a potter's field in time. Tom's ex-law clerk came out to him by text. Tom was sitting next to him at the Marriott bar at the time. Some things are easier typed. There was a reference to powdering a jacket. Tom ordered more Long Islands. Suzanne left the bay and tore the flower power sticker off her Beetle. She detransitioned and gets health insurance from Trader Joe's. She is still commie, but complains about the lines at Costco. She's actually not that bad. Is she though? For real, Ka. Thomas lost his MAGA hat and therefore, and expertly, ordered 16 more ARs. He buries them, most of them, in plastic totes in the backyard, in case the feds descend. He visits MSNBC and Daily Kos a few times per day as digital cover. He is working on a manuscript to send to some filthy fucking internet WordPress rag. I miss my best friend. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Thanks, Taylor. It's literally Black Thursday as I write this. Have you read Harry's book? Yes, and I think it is on the bestsellers list for a reason. You mean because he's royalty? No, because he's a cunt. You're only saying that because you can. True. Another Long Island, Tom? Yeah, and one for my friend here. Tom is about to ask the Dungeons and Dragons question. Must have rubbed off. From who? Girl I used to date. She's a waitress. Here? Only moments later in the special court jurisdiction, Bridges Restaurant. Does your friend have a friend? Hey, it's the 90s. LOL, Daniel. Lauren had 6 Skinny Bee margaritas at a select neighborhood grill, broke out her dancing sticks and pulled her skirt over her head before 6 p.m. She was 86 and forgot and told she had to leave when she showed up with her kids the next week. They showed her the photo of the rose on her ass that was making its rounds among the line cooks. I should like to see the color of your money versus ladies and gentlemen, we got 'em. It's a pop quiz, though you haven't a clue. The syllabus is not up to date and the professor leaps from the chapel. Holy shit, that's a bad play. You betcha. Megan always said the ends justified the means. Yeah, bro, but like, really? What? I will not sit here and let you downplay your role in this. You have, lady, there's lipstick all over your fucking face, and this is a Cousin Subs, not a Jersey Mike's, and my name is Alan, not Eric. Jesus Christ. Tom consumedly consumed 8 Long Islands and called it the abatement of liquor by an individual, did a few lines of coke with his ex-law clerk, and gave the poor devil the Irish goodbye. That fucking Tom. That's it.
Adam, I love these. You were killing me though. I was laughing so hard during both of them. So first of all, the first one is perfect. It's very concise, and there's so many. And just within the concise space of this first poem, there are so many really great funny moments. I love Are you seeing anyone? Not lately, you. You should meet my friend Lacey, but she charges money. Like that is just such a great like exchange. And then at the end, like the way he evades having a type, and then it's the most specific like fantasy imaginable. It's like, oh, I haven't really thought about it. But now that I think about it, and then just the most like so many like small details, like the uh really worn out from her shift and has an empty gas station coffee cup in her hand, and it's around Christmas time or maybe early spring. That like level of detail and the way it builds up to it is just like so perfectly captures like how actual human conversations happen, right? Where like somebody asks you a kind of uncomfortable question, you're like, oh, I don't know. And, and you give the illusion, oh, this isn't something I really think about. And then you give a hyper specific answer that reveals that this is something that has been on your mind for probably most of your adult life. So that's just such a perfectly structured little poem. And your second piece, your epic here, is fantastic because I can see how if you had written this when I first started reading your writing like 2 years ago, this would not have been one poem. This would have been like a dozen separate individual poems, right? And the way that you've taken these pieces that I think in the past you would have like made stand alone and woven them into this really intricate fabric of a poem, this almost like wasteland like poem with all these different voices were woven into each other, and yet still like there's a thematic cohesion to it, right? Because fundamentally, like the law becomes, you know, the courthouse and the legal profession becomes the axis upon which this entire like wonderfully deranged set of voices and anecdotes spins, and it's wonderful. It feels like an evolution of your voice, Adam. This poem in particular really feels like an evolution of your voice. It feels in the same way that your first Larson, poem felt like an evolution of your voice. This poem and the one that you read last week, I think it was, taken together feel like, this is what's next from Adam Johnson, and I'm excited, basically. Anyway, thank you, man.
Thanks a ton, William. That was very generous of you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I love the last, the second poem you read because it's like an extension of the Larson verse stuff. It's almost like the Infinity War of the the Larson verse, to put it one way. But I really like all the references and how like the narratives are interweaved and stuff. And gotta do a shout out to the Mrs. Doubtfire reference in this one. You know, the Bridges restaurant and
Yeah, I thought like there's a possibility I may read this at Misery Loves Company, and if I do, I at least need to put a Mrs. Doubtfire reference in for Rudy.
Fuck yeah! Well, thank you.
I see. I didn't catch this Mrs. Doubtfire reference either. Probably because unlike you, Rudy, I've probably seen the movie twice in my entire life.
No, no, this is so fantastically constructed. I love some of the language. Like, there's a reason they use 86 and forgot like that. That was just such a good use of like that. That's a like phrase you don't really hear, like 86. You don't hear it a lot. It's this whole thing has like a real like throwback like 90s type of vibe to it. It's really good.
Thanks, Rudy.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. So Mark is next, and then Troy. And if anyone else has something they would like to read after Troy, put it in the chat now, because we're going to go Mark and then Troy, and then anyone else who has something to read. And then Rudy is going to close the night up with a demo of his most recent game. So Mark, it's all yours.
Hey. Right. Okay. I decided to start because I got my book for the first time today, so it arrived within like 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very first time. I'll drop a link in the chat at some point. I'll read the weirder things. There's some relatively normal poems in this, don't hate me, but I won't read them. But then I say that, and it also, like the poem I'm going to end with, opens the book and opens with like getting fucked in the sex club. So not that normal, like relative. But okay, I'll read 3 short things. This is called Withdrawn. He is a cliff face looming over the beach, its sand an afterthought to its abrupt landscape. He is a wall of unscalable chalk leaning into its erosion. Unreturned calls, hearing only wind. I'll be gone soon. He longs to be silt, unsentimental when carried by the roar of a river to a sea where he's sediment, an irrelevance lining the ocean floor. This next one is called The Imaginary Friend. The imaginary friend pinches inside the center of my chest like an axial graph folded and ripped, an extra-dimensional shift to shit cinched with the rented smile of a guest. He suspects that his greatest achievement is unraveling the probable, cause traveling without effect, leaving life only with the introspect, the what-ifs, your standard issue rejects. He perfects his wind tunnel soft whisper, appearing almost apologetic at his fissures dotted around reality, each idle thought an enemy, each slit quickening the tangled nerves around it. Each brush becomes a thicket, drowning my vision and the waterline, revising life into a supine circle of salt. And the last one was the one I mentioned earlier, which opens the book. And I had another poem in it, and like 5 of the posts were like, don't open it with that one, open it with this one. So that's what I did, and it's called Bear, B-A-R-E. The only light comes from the distended television, tinted with red on heavy rotation, lighting up limbs, play fighting, riding themselves into well-oiled hinges. I watch your body reform, shivering at cold spunk, aware of your breath's hardness at my stare. You have become rudderless in your quest to become nothing. The world is a windowless tomorrow holding steady on the brink of sunlight. Fucked raw against the wall, there is a hush. Even your tinnitus is quiet now. You're a skin flick burnt into the TV, perpetually left pre-coming on mute. That's me.
Mark, those were fucking beautiful. Now,
Thank you.
are you so you need to do an audio version of this book.
I will, yeah, I think so.
Because some poets write, there's some poetry that's fucking fantastic, it's great, but it's not written to be read. It's not written to be read out loud, right? Your poetry is absolutely written to be read aloud. And that really occurred to me as you were reading that second poem. The fucking cadence of that poem, the like interplay between the different what's the word I'm looking for? You like between the different words, the way the words, like the sound of the words interplay with each other. It can be perceived on the page, right? Like the supine circle of salt. You can see that on the page, but when you hear someone say it, you really grasp the lyrical quality of it, right? And that second poem, the cadence and the lyricism of that second poem, oh my God, it demands to be heard, right? It demands to be spoken aloud. And that first, I have to say, that first poem, that he longs to be silt section, oh my fucking God, I love it. I love that so much. Like I never like that's an experience I have had and have never thought to put in those words. But once I heard it, I was like, yeah, exactly. Like that sense of just being like particles being washed away by the river, just being like fucking washed out to sea and collected somewhere, deposited somewhere. This is good shit, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And definitely do put the link in the chat because then Rudy can tweet it out.
I've put it in the chat there. So yeah.
Awesome.
But thank you. I'm gonna go sleep now.
Okay. Have a good night, Mark. Thank you so much.
Bye.
And Troy is up next, and I think Rudy, has anyone asked to be put on the list?
Not that I saw.
Not that I've seen.
I think Troy is on there.
No,
Yeah,
I know.
Troy's
Troy
up
is up
next.
next. But I just wanted to make sure because after Troy, it's going to be Rudy, and then we're going to end the night. What I don't want to do is like do another open mic after Rudy because I want to let Rudy close it out with his demo. So Troy is next. And if anyone else wants to read, say something in the chat while Troy is reading. And if not, we'll move right along to Rudy. Okay, Troy, it's all yours.
All right, thanks. Okay, I'm just going to read a couple of dumb things. 3 thoughts on novels or poems or whatever the fuck you want to call them. 1, they could be 1 or 1,000 or 1 million pages. There's no difference. 2, they can be about anything. 3, they can be about nothing. 4, anything is nothing. 5, nothing is better than something. 6, why would you want to write about ghosts? 7, we are ghosts. 8, ghosts don't exist. 9, existence is nothing. 10, nothing is everything. 11, you're a dipshit if you don't think these 3 thoughts are useful. All right, let me scroll. Subway. One time I read in a Subway while eating a foot-long tuna that some lab tested the tuna from Subway and found it contained no fish at all. I wondered with each bite what it was made of, why and how it tasted so good, so much like the real thing, maybe even better. I asked the guy at the counter what it was made of. Tuna, he said. I just read that it isn't tuna, that there's no fish in here at all. Look, man, I only work here. It's fucking tuna. I resisted the urge to jump over the counter and beat him to death. Instead, I said, where's Jared? I want to speak to the person in charge. Sorry, I got to do some scrolling. Predictions. In 2050, I'll witness an alien approach me from under the tree in my backyard. He'll speak English, but telepathically, and tell me about the apple orchard he works on. In 2035, I'll witness a new or undiscovered species of primate jump from the branch of the tree in my backyard and ask me, in a language I don't know but somehow understand, which way to the nearest Del Taco. I'll give him directions, but he'll have no idea that it's over 1,000 miles away. He'll wave as he walks away. In 2030, I'll witness a witness on the witness stand during a murder trial fart out loud. It'll sound like the answer to the question. Yes, I believe that's correct. Okay, I got like 2 more. Urgent care. She got a good pull of the knot with her teeth, airtight at his wound. Where they were on the porch, they could see goslings near a juniper in a patch of twilight. The suture that held his ear to his head steamed, but he remained unmoored by the cold. Her lips cracked as she smiled. Something's wrong, she said. He nodded. She didn't respond to his nod, and he fed that silence. Okay. Auto eye disorder. Things were rocky, and it wasn't easy to swallow at first. Took a lot of time to build up to. I started with Cheerios and moved on to Goldfish. After a few months, I was able to fit my fist in, even able to stretch my throat with my fingers without gagging. After a year, I could get a tackle box worth of fish hooks down, even some knives. Year 2 saw me getting the anchor down. That's when I jumped ship. Okay. They're so short, I'll do like 2 more. Eventually, headache hobbies, that's what I call them. Nothing's worse than the cancer community. Eventually, there will be nobody left and nobody will miss it. Jokes. Aside from jokes, all jokes aside, let me say I haven't heard a bad one. The fact that I'm writing this is a joke. I type this next to a river in my brain. My brain prints out the first draft and shit. I piss on it, marking my territory. If anybody else takes a shit, I'm going to make it known I was the first to do so. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Oh my God, Troy, you really showed off your range tonight. If someone had put each of those brief pieces in front of me and had taken any like identifying shit off of them, I would not have come to the conclusion they were written by the same author. Not in a million fucking years. Each one is so wonderful and perfect in its own little self-contained way, but does not bear like any fucking resemblance to the other, not even like stylistically, right? I have to say, of this batch, the one that really fucking got me was the Subway one. I was dying the entire time you were reading that. And Rudy, I feel like I need Rudy, I feel like I need you to say something about that one because it's so reflective of the conversations I've had with Rudy about fast food, where Rudy like tries to explain to me the appeal of fast food.
It does. Yeah, it's better. The line like better than real, like, or better than, what was it? It was like better than.
It's better than tuna, right?
Better than tuna. Yeah, that just encompasses. Oh man, the mouthfeel and the fucking. I could taste the mouthfeel, if that makes any sense. I mean, I guess you taste mouthfeel. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, these were so good. Like I love how the delivery, like how you delivered them in this way, like even the scrolling and shit, like that's so good. Like I need to scroll, and like like your casual kind of like chill delivery of some of the stuff that's like heavier is really really good. I love it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, Troy. The other one I need to say something about, I whispered, "Oh God," under my breath when you got to the fish hook, the like fistful of fish hooks moment in the other poem. That was just so viscerally uncomfortable when you're yeah, when you're like deep throating the fish hooks. That was an image I couldn't handle. But anyway, these are all very good, Troy. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I think we've got Grapes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Grapes is up.
Yeah, Grapes is up next. And then Rudy will close out the night.
Okay, so I'm sharing some old poetry from when I first started writing, which is, I must have been around 21. Okay. See me smirking after I realized that I got paid for decocking all day. And if you don't know what decocking is, it's like that gushy stuff at the bottom of your tub that keeps the water out. So I got paid to do like this construction job all day. That is what the poem's about. Okay, here's another one, also about money. Where's Zach now? He texts me saying, I want to be able to at least buy my baby a cheeseburger. I now know we all got the petite proletariat blues. And then my last one, it's titled Facebook and Rice. There was a poem here, I'm sure, but now it's gone. Maybe it was political.
I love that last poem. I love that last poem so much. The maybe it was political thing got me, right? Because it gets at the weird way in which like we attach so much significance to our thoughts, and especially our like political and ideological thoughts, even though they're so fucking ephemeral, right? They're fucking nothing. They're there and they're gone, just like any other thought, but we attach so much meaning and significance to them. And so that's great. I loved the I want to at least be able to buy my baby a cheeseburger line from the second poem, followed by the like petite proletariat blues thing. That whole poem is just wonderfully like lyrical and has just a real like great kind of spoken word quality to them. Anyway, these are great Grapes. Thank you so much. And yeah, Rudy's up next.
Alrighty, so I'm going to share my screen if that's okay, because I'm gonna read this little blurb from my Substack, and I'm actually gonna include it in the blurb is two critics who accosted me after I released this game, or a little before I released the game, with shitty criticism. So yeah, I'm gonna play some of the criticism for you, and then I'm gonna play the game for a bit and try to speedrun it if I can. But if it takes too long, I'll just dump it and just not finish it out. Yeah, take it easy, Troy. Yeah, so I'm gonna share my screen. If I can figure out how. Cool. Can you guys see the screen?
Perfectly.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah. One Eye Sees. One Eye Sees is a short modern art themed game that explores the relationships between failure and visual memory. The goal is to reproduce an image that you can see on your screen at the beginning of each round. You do this by moving yourself around a gallery of modern art and snapping a picture when you believe your current screen is a close approximation of this image. Each round, you're given an accuracy rating based on how close your reproduction is to the original. If you want to dive right in, here's the link, and here's the controls, which, yeah, if you want to play it or anything. So the mechanical deep dive. The lower your accuracy rating, the more pixelated garbage fills your screen. The garbage, in addition to blocking your view, doubles as a semi-transparent reproduction of the current round's target image. So if you do really badly in the previous round, you'll get more garbage, and as a result, you'll get a clearer picture of the current round's goal that you can use to help you line up the shot. Movement around the gallery does a couple of things. One, it helps you get familiar with the layout for future rounds so you can reproduce shots more accurately. It also erases parts of the garbage on the screen, which has three main effects. One is it makes your current view less obstructed, which lets you see the gallery more clearly as you explore it. Two, it makes lining up your shot more difficult unless you've got eidetic memory or something, which I certainly don't, because you're erasing the pixels that can serve as your guidelines. And number three, it makes art. Pressing each directional button operates like the dial on an Etch-a-Sketch. If you have a lot of screen garbage, you'll notice that you can actually draw things by moving around. This lets you make little works of something while you stumble around the gallery. Alternately, you can just say, fuck the regular game and create things in the space of your failures until the cows come home. That's what I do in this game and in the game of life. The other feels. One Eye Sees is mostly me thinking out loud in abstract ways about imitation in the arts, failed artists like myself, and the way failure informs perspective. Despite the heavy titles of the two pictures at the beginning of the post, this is a game that treats the significance of artistic statement playfully. Am I saying something about a minority's artistic struggle with the fact that the quasi landscape of the white backgrounded piece has stars in the sky, opportunities, while the black grounded one is more chaotic and maybe suggests an urban environment? Or did I simply take some random screenshots while mouse looking up at the black sky box and then down at the white floor? What if I just took the screenshots and then retroactively assigned them some intent? I definitely didn't do that. Who cares about intent in art anyway? Who wants to play a game about art failure musings? Who wants to fail constantly? Who wants this dog? These are actually absurd questions. All art is fucking absurd in some ways. So anyway, here's what two mean critics, a psychopath and a sellout tech bro, go figure, had to say about my art game. And these are the voice clips from the critics. You can see their text here, but I'm actually gonna play some of their voices. These guys really heckled me here.
I find this piece lacking. The composition needs something. Art should represent a unified, holistic picture, something that can be assembled into a body of work. This feels like an automaton, some sort of hexed collage that you interact with at a distance. There is nothing visceral about this. That is to say, there is no viscera, nor feeling. I am numbed by the palette of grays, a stylistic rain curtain that I cannot penetrate.
Yeah, I mean, fuck him. He's a psychopath. Whatever. He guy fucking shoots people and makes gun art or something. Fuck his shit. This guy had some good criticisms, which I kind of agree with. So yeah.
Oh, how wonderful technology is! Though this amalgam of hex and code is novice at best, I can see its potential to excite limited minds. However, I question its role as a game. The sense of mastery accrued from solving this rather rudimentary scenario is scant, and as a goal-based exercise, it feels rather rote. I ask you, is the coterminous pursuit of an artistic statement and a game worthwhile? In this case study, I do not see the efficacy of that.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with Mr. H.R. Dinger. The Dinger makes some good points. But yeah, the characters are taken from League of Legends. Please don't fucking sue me, Riot. I didn't intend any copyright infringement. They were made by some AI thing that you can use to generate these voices or whatever. You can generate AI voices. You just put in some sample shit and it'll spit you back a thing. So anyway, I'm going to play this fucking game. Let me see if I can, just going to copy this and throw it in here. So yeah, this is one ICs. This is this little game. So first it's going to take the snapshot, and that's what I have to reproduce. So as you can see, my success threshold is 50% now, and I'll get a rating after I take the picture. So I think it's roughly like right here. That seems about right. I probably made 50% on that, maybe. Oh boy, let's see. Yeah, okay, so I did pretty good on that elephant. Yeah. So now I can move something in the gallery. So what do you think I should move in here? Like I can move any of these pieces in here. I think I'll move by this one. I don't know what kind of gallery I should make. I kind of want to make something like stupid, and it's already stupid, but I want to make something like meaningfully stupid. Oh yeah, I took a picture of the vulture. So 60%. So I'm not going to have much garbage on the screen because I did about a 66%. But if you look at this, this is the garbage here, the stuff it put on the screen. And that basically, oops. Well, that didn't do good there. So now I'm going to have a lot of garbage in the next one, probably. And no, still 66%. I did okay because at least I captured the vulture and the shit there. So that's cool. I'm going to actually move this vulture somewhere here. If you score above the threshold, then you get to move the pieces around your gallery. And also you advance to the next threshold, which in this case is, oh shit. Well, that one actually I can probably reproduce pretty easily just by taking a picture of the guy. What's that? I thought Malene was saying something, but maybe not. I'm gonna, oh, okay. So I'm gonna try to, I don't know where the fuck that was. I think I'm inside something. It must have been inside some shit like this thing. You can duck inside of the sculptures and shit. So that one is probably inside of the fucking thing, but I think I can reproduce it fairly accurately just by doing something like this. And that's a super cheap, like Uber Pro strat. I might be able to reproduce that pretty accurate. Not quite. I mean, that's 61%. That's not bad. That's enough to move it. So that's good enough. Which one should I move? I don't know. What do you think the theme for this gallery should be, you guys? What are you abstract art aficionados? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm waiting for an answer in the chat here.
What's the question?
I say, what do you think the theme for my gallery should be? My modern art gallery.
Progress.
That's perfect, actually, considering especially that we heard from Cecil B. Heimerdinger, the master of progress. Let's see. Okay, so I actually have no idea what I'm supposed to take a picture of right now. Boy, look at this guy. This is not really helping me. So let me see if I can, I think I go over here. So I can see this in the middle here, this little thing that's black, but I'm not sure where I can reproduce that here because I totally ignored the prompt. So cool. What are we mostly here? Mostly gray. Oh, actually, I think it might be here. It might be like right. No, not quite. I'm gonna snap that because it's mostly gray you've got in it. So I'm gonna see if that'll get me past the threshold. Nope, not quite. Should have paid attention. I get, oh, that makes sense. Okay, so since I didn't do good, I don't get to rearrange the gallery on this one. So now I'm going, yeah. I know what this is, basically. I'm basically like, right. Let's see if I can see the vulture. I didn't do bad enough to get a really good representation of the, I didn't do bad enough to put enough junk on the screen so that it give me something that I can use here. But I did bad enough. But I think actually there's like something like this. Does that look right? I don't know. I think the vulture's eye was like right there-ish. I'm gonna see if that'll pass me the threshold here. Nope, that's what. So that means I was below 50%. The B, because B's have poor memory. So okay. Oh wow, it gave me a really easy one. So that's cool. So yeah, I just take a picture of a gray wall. Fuck yeah, dude. Okay, so that should be 100% threshold, and that'll pass me hippocampus. So yeah, that'll pass me to the next one. I got really lucky there. Okay, so progress. We're thinking. I don't know. Like I can move some of these around. There's actually a hidden thing with moving these that I won't spoil in case anybody tries to play this. You might be able to figure it out based on what happens in the game here. Progress. What do you think? Untitled sounds progressive. I don't know. Death Lord. This one strikes me as a very progressive statue. The one that's like kind of inside out and inside out something. So I'll put that right here as untitled. Yeah. Progress. I mean, maybe with progress you think like cumulative stuff or something. I don't know. Okay, so I did really good. So I don't have any junk on the screen because I got 100%. So that's gonna impede me doing really much of anything here. I think, forget, is this angle, was that the angle or was it? I think it was something like this actually. But I'm not sure about the front of it, how close in it was to the vulture or how close in the shot. Yeah, so that's not enough to pass me the threshold. Okay, so here we go. Now this is where the junk might actually be useful because I might be able to use it to help line up the, if you can see the black shit in the thing now, I might be able to use it to help line up some of the words if I remember where it was. Let's see here. I know there's a bunch of like these. I'm not sure. It was over here. It must have been over here. That must be where it is. So I'm trying to line up the top with, let's see, I can't see any of the words. Let me see. Yeah, I can't make out any of the words, but I think it was over in this one. And I'm going to try to line up the shit where it goes. Maybe it's actually not this one at all. I think this one is close enough for government work, as they say. So I'm going to try that. I might be totally off, actually. And if I am, then that'll probably help me a little bit. Yeah, that's not enough to threshold. So, oh, Jesus, this is a really tough one. So, yeah. Okay, so it's looking at the vulture. It's somewhere in the oh, and also if you notice, I can actually just jumping around here, I can kind of draw and erase the shit, which I'm gonna do and fuck myself because I'm probably gonna punt this one so that I can actually get a good thing for the next one. But I can kind of etch a sketch the shit out here. So if you want to make your own abstract art, you can do that definitely. Let's see. So it was mostly, yeah, I'm just gonna point at the black and punt it so that I can get a lot of garbage on the screen so that I can see the next objective really clearly. So hopefully that'll help me in the next one. Okay, so this is a good one because now I can see the letters on there, so I know which sign to go to. And now I'm gonna go down first and then over. Okay, so let me go to find that one. Where is it? Let's see here. Here it is. Because I don't remember which way it was pointed, but I can actually see on here which way it was pointed. If you look, you can see the 1776. So it's kind of showing me here. If you look at the ground, it's showing me where how I can place these over the letters to actually help me. So because I failed so spectacularly last time, this may actually help me threshold here. Let me see here. That's about right there. I want to do really good on this one so I can get past the 70%. That one looks about right. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see how good that one. I estimate that's about 80%, but maybe not. Maybe I'm totally off. 77, so that's enough to threshold. So now I can place something else in the gallery box. I think so order. So or progress. That's what it was. Progress. Progress. So let's make these progressively like bigger, maybe, I guess. So we got this shit here that's kind of small. We got this one that's sort of small. This middle one is small. So I'll make this one bigger. And then next time we'll add that bigger one at the bottom. So okay, so I think I can do this. That looks like black on a lot of white. But unfortunately my threshold was pretty high, so I won't have a whole hell of a lot of anything to look at here. So that's showing. Yeah, that's not super helpful. Let's see, but I think I vaguely remember what I can do. Black, white. I don't remember the exact ratio of black to white, but what I'm going to do is something. Let's see if we can line this up. I know I can see the black is on. Is that black or gray? That's black. Okay, so I can see the black is on this side, sort of. But there's a lot of white there too. Yeah, I can't really. I don't know where that actually is, so I'm not sure whether I can get to that. You know what? I'm just gonna put it right here. I think it's something. This is gonna be fucked up, but it's gonna be sort of close, maybe. Hopefully that'll be enough to take me over the threshold, even though I'm really kind of cheating there. Nope, not quite. I cheated too much. So okay, this one is another pretty tough one. Because it's in a wall. So let's see how we can do with that. So got gray and my threshold. I scored too high. So you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna actually punt that one. By what is that? A lot of gray, by some white. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to punt it by looking at the ground, take the snapshot so I can get a good read for the next one here if I can. Yeah, okay. So I got really shit on that time. So let's see if okay. This I might be able to do. Black to the side and white. Okay. Yeah, so I really got it. Oh wow, yeah, that got a fantastic read. So let's see. So basically I want to remake something that has that and that black. Okay, so I try to go down. I'm trying to destroy as little of the piece as I can, or as little of the picture as I can by strafing here. Now where would that okay, so it might be nope, can't do it there. So I'm actually not sure where this is. This isn't a picture of a piece of art. This is something probably outside the bounds of the gallery, I would think, or it's something inside of something else, which cool. It's tilted to the side. Oh, and if anybody like sees anything or whatever while I'm scrolling around here, just shout it out. But I think this is pretty much, it's gonna be something that's black and white. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, maybe actually you can get it. Let's see. That's gonna be that's white. That's black. Okay. Oh, okay. It might be right here actually. Yep. I think we can reproduce it right here accurately. The only thing is that gray in the upper left-hand corner, but let's see if we can do that. I don't think that came out great. Might be 75 though. Yep, 82%. Okay. So yeah. So for our last placement in the gallery, what do you guys think I should do to accent the theme of progress here?
Have you moved the vulture yet?
Yeah, I did. The vulture is right here.
I was gonna say you have to. It's Misery Loves Company. You got to move the vulture.
Okay, let me see what I can do here. I'll move him again.
It's called Liz Lame Misery.
Play Misery 2013 digital sculpture. Where should I put the vulture though? Progress. I can turn it and shit, but I'm not
Try
sure.
to put it inside as many different objects as possible.
Fuck yeah. Let's put it right here. That's a big pyramid. Let's see. So okay, so that's I beat it. 61% accuracy. That's about average from the playthroughs I've done before. And there's a fucking vulture. So this sculpture right here, I'm not gonna lie, was partially inspired by 9/11, as a lot of things probably are. Because you got like the two big towers, and then you have like Building 7 in back here. So yeah, I'm gonna screenshot that, take a picture of that shit, and that's my gallery. So cool. Yeah, cool. And that's pretty much the game. So cool. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now, if I can get up there. Yeah, that's it.
Man, I think you almost killed GG with that Jin voice. If you go back and look at the chat, GG was like, Jesus Christ. He's like, you almost killed me, Rudy. I think because it played at a slightly higher volume than your voice, and also it was that like snarling thing. But anyway, I think, and also GG might not be in a totally unaltered state of consciousness. But anyway, man, this game is pretty rad, and I will say your visual memory must be so much fucking better than mine, because I play tested this a couple of days ago, and I think the best I got was like 55%. I had no fucking clue. Although I don't think the
the pixel mechanic I don't think was in the one that I showed you.
That's it, yeah.
I made I did some things with the code that made the thing a little bit more forgiving. Basically, I just changed the ratings to integers. So so you were playing with like basically floats, which you'd have to hit it right on the money or higher. So it was really kind of bad because I'm a bad programmer. But I think you were playing the hard mode version.
But no, I really like the mix of basically this is like Pokemon Snap meets like art installations, and I love it. Because it like, I don't know, it captures that. It captures like the perverse incentives of going to an art gallery, right? Because like the way you're supposed to go to an art gallery is you're supposed to go in there and just appreciate the work, right? But most of the time when you go in there, like so often you're like, oh man, like this, I'm going to take a picture. Like you've got your phone with you and I'm going to take a picture of this piece of art. And the pictures never manage to actually capture the experience of actually, like if you took advantage of those fucking benches that are there and you sat down on the bench and just soaked in the work of art, you would get so much more out of it than going on with your smartphone in your hand. But like the compulsion to do that, to like take somebody else's art and make it into your own like social or viral moment, like to somehow make it like, I hate to use this word, but to co-opt it, right? And how much is like of the value of it is lost in that act of, or to co-opt it or to make it into like a social game of going around the gallery. I got to show this to my friends, like it's
that's actually the better way to experience the Tate Modern Museum, is to go around, have a social experience, and just like kind of like, it's not like like a oil painting museum where you would have like a guide tell you about all the like history and techniques that went into the painting. Like there isn't as much of an established tradition. So when you look at it, you have very little frame of reference to like kind of like a template to go by and say, oh, okay, so this is probably this, like to interpret it. So you really like when you go into like a modern art museum, or at least when we did, it was way better with other people. So you could like just kind of lean over and say, so what do you suppose this is?
Yeah.
You got way more out of it that way than you would just going through alone.
But Lane, it's not supposed to be interpretive. Modern art, you're not supposed to wonder what this is.
William, can I say something about what you said about
with it?
So what do you think
it's
about
not anything?
this?
It's not representational.
How about that?
And Mullane, you zoomer, first off, shut up. Second, I don't mean that, I'm sorry. But William, what you said about Pokemon Snap, so first off, I think that can be taken as
William.
Hey, I was mean to you before and I apologize. That means I continue being mean to you. I'm sorry, I don't mean that. I kind of do. No, you said Pokemon Snap. If you want to go out for a limb with me for a second, I'm being kind of funny, but also it's like that is a deconstruction of Japanese tourists at the zoo. Like that's like 90s Japanese tourists was like so much of you see them so much, they pervaded like American culture to a point, right? Every
Right,
single
right.
time we saw a Japanese tourist in the movie, it's like they got 50 cameras. I'm holding a knife
Yeah.
and fork on a plate. Let's take a picture. Like, so Pokemon Snap, a Japanese game by a Japanese company associated with a Japanese trading card game, makes this game where it codifies and adds point values to the pictures you can take, right?
Mhm.
And that's applied to a zoo setting, which is weird already. So if you take that logic of like, we're taking pictures of these live zoo things and apply it to what Rudy's doing here, and you think of like these, because art ages, it becomes different through culture. It takes on different meaning. This is bad now. This is so good, right? That kind of shit. So it's Rudy Pokemon snapping this sort of shit, but he's essentially doing the same thing. He's still in the zoo, and but like the rate of change is different, but it's just still sort of like sick, evil Japanese tourists adding point values to their experience at some sort of
Oh, I mean,
enriching thing. I'm big, yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
like
yeah,
I like the way that it decays over time if you make mistakes, and it layers on like almost cognitive dissolution or something. It's cool. So if you do that 3 or 4 times, does it like compound the errors every time? Did I get that right?
Oh, nope, it doesn't compound them, but what you said is right. Like the mistakes, like actually, like it'll fill your screen with all this junk, and it makes it so that it makes the experience of seeing the gallery and like viewing the actual art very difficult. What it makes of the experience or the the game part of reproducing the images more easy, because you can see the pixels on the screen that you need to take a picture of. So that's kind of, I don't know. I hate to like do an art statement type of thing, but it's basically saying like, well, like what Gigi said, and I think what Mullane said too about the social experience of being in a gallery. Like, it's like people are trying to quantify this shit, and William said that as well. So it's the idea of like trying to quantify this shit. Like the more you quantify it, the less you kind of enjoy the art. It's like, well, I'm trying to take the perfect shot, or I'm trying to take the perfect thing or whatever, and that then if you don't take the perfect shot, you fail at that, but then your experience of the gallery becomes better. But if you take the perfect shot, then it's like you can't do the gamey like social media stuff as well, or whatever. So that's kind of what I was going for there. And also this game is very much just about like how failures kind of inspire and compound to create new things, new art and stuff like that. Like, art, like I don't know, just the idea of like failed artists. The more you fail forward, right? I mean, that's the whole kind of thing. And in some cases, not in all cases, not even really in many cases, I guess, but in some cases you might fail forward, and like some failure might inspire you in the future. So that's it. I've talked way too long, so sorry.
Okay, wait. I have one more question while we're talking about art interpretation.
Hmm.
Sorry, appreciation, William. Sorry. Didn't mean to like make everything
No,
intelligible.
Mullane, I'm
Imply
sorry.
everything could be made intelligible.
Mullane, I'm sorry. I went a little hard
You
there. I apologize.
No,
Hard on
it's
the bottom.
okay. But are you always devaluing a piece of art by hating it?
I don't think so. I think if anything, you add value to a piece of art by hating it, because
we shit talked a lot of pieces in that.
How, is value defined here by money?
No, of course not.
No, that's a serious. I'm not like being dickish. Like it does. I think hating a piece of art would probably drive up the value because it causes like a strong emotional reaction rather than just being like, yeah, this is stupid. I don't care about it. But if you genuinely hate a piece of art, like that when Dadaist stuff like first started, like that dude who flipped the urinal, and he's like, fuck you. And then that pissed off a lot of people. And that's why it's still in like books and shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that it devalues I mean, like a lot of people today just desperate for anything, any comments or whatever, anything. But it certainly doesn't devalue the artist, I guess, but from, personal stuff, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly what Rudy said. So you have to take in mind that the baseline value for any work of art is 0, regardless of the currency, right? If you're talking about money, it's 0. If you're talking about its emotional significance, its artistic value, it's 0. Like that's baseline, right? And it can't go below 0. So any time a human being approaches a work of art and does anything but walk by and ignore it, they're adding value to that work. They're adding, it has a great, either they're adding a greater emotional value to it in that like it now has some kind of emotional currency, right? It vibrates with some kind of emotion. Or if you're even talking in Gigi sense of like just baseline, simple monetary value,
I would never.
art that's widely reviled and hated, when put on auction, is going to sell way more than a work nobody knows about, nobody gives a fuck about, right? It may not sell for as much as a work that's like widely loved, you know, but nonetheless, like you're always adding value, because the only thing that reduces the value of art is apathy.
It's just a fucking attention economy. That's awful. That's worse
Also,
than what I was thinking.
Taylor wants to say something. He can't unmute himself.
Oh, just a second. I don't
No,
know.
but like Mullane, it is. That's why
someone.
it's like used for like laundering money and shit. Because it's just like, yeah, Van Gogh, fucking $11 million. It'll become 15 million in 3 years. Like that, yeah. That's it.
But
Like the best art is
Wow,
the
I'm
most
actually more
expensive.
pessimistic about art now.
It's the stuff that's like the whatever top dollar stuff that's as top dollar as it is simply because the most people know about it, right?
Yeah.
There's no some unknown who's going to outsell whatever Van Gogh, Picasso, the big names.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
art doesn't have intrinsic value. As much as I would love for art to have intrinsic value, it's only our perception of it.
And it's only to the sighted, you fucking bigot.
Unless it's Bitcoin.
I'm
or
sorry,
some- or,
it's so
you
stupid.
know, one of the NFTs or whatever. Those have intrinsic value.
Oh,
or, you know,
They always have no,
It's on the blockchain or something.
That's the fucking NFT.
right.
All right.
I didn't get a word of that. How'd you get it, Ruby?
What?
How'd you understand what he said? His mic started breaking up.
Oh, I heard negative value for NFTs, and I was like, "Lol." That's all I heard.
That's enough.
That's enough.
All right, guys. I think Rudy, that was awesome. Thank you. I think I'm going to end it here. We can, if we want, after I stop recording, we can continue our discussion of like the value of art and get really spicy about it. But I'm going to end the actual reading now. Thank you to everyone who's read. As usual, just incredibly inventive, unique, and awesome pieces tonight.
God.
Anyway, so I'm going to, as I said, I don't know if that was a troll or just somebody who forgot to mute their mic. But anyway, gonna end it there. Thank you to everyone who's read. We do this every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. If you are watching this on YouTube after the fact, you are welcome to join us. Just we will tweet out the link right before we start from @MiseryTourism. That's our Twitter account. Anyone who would like can come and share their work or just come and hang out.
Let's go.
And that's it. Anyway, thanks guys. It's been a good one.